Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaraachaarya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahabhiryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. त्रैलोक्यनाथ हरिमीड्यमुदारसत्वं शक्तेस्तनूजतनयं परमेष्ठिकल्पं जीमूतमुक्तविमलाम्बरचारुवर्णं वासिष्ठमुग्रतपसं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्. We were looking at the Karana Karya Prakriya, correct? Cause and effect. Now the two major theories, you can say, with regards to Karana and Karya is Asatkaryavada and Satkaryavada. So the Nayayikas and the Vaisheshikas, correct? They both are called Tarkikas in general. They have a theory that the non-existent effect is produced from the cause, and the effect itself is a separate entity with its own existence. Okay, the cause is a separate entity, effect is a separate entity, independently. That is the view of the Nayayikas and Vaisheshikas. Then the Satkaryavadi is there, the Sankhya and Yoga. They are called Satkaryavadi. They say that Karana is potentially already having the Karya, but even they say that there is a special guna, because it is avyakta, correct? It is unmanifest in the potential state, then it manifests, means it is getting a new guna, like that they are saying, which was not there before. But they also maintain the cause also is an entity and effect also is an entity, because Yoga and Sankhya are also Dvaita Darshana only. They are all Dvaitins. They are dualists. So they also maintain that. Now, the Advaitin first argues with them logically that whatever is not there, non-existent, can never come into being, correct? That is the main contention. Other than that, what we also say is that Pratyaksha also says that there is no separate entity. If there is a separate entity, you show me. You are not able to show me anything. You are not able to even, you can't also measure and show that something different is there. There is no, the weight of the effect is the weight of the material cause. If you touch the effect, you are touching the material cause, whether it is gold or clay or whatever it is, correct? So, Pratyakshataha, using perception itself, you cannot establish that there is a separate entity. So therefore, the effect is nothing but a name and form, which is what the Upanishad also teaches. You cannot give some complicated anumana which goes against the pratyaksha, correct? Pratyaksha is supposed to be balavat. Okay, on top of that, if you argue that, then why do we have a different name and even different form and function and all that? Those things do not count as a separate substance or entity. Then we give the analogy. Acharya gave the analogy of the actor and the character, correct? So the Natavat, he said, like even the actor can take on many characters with different names, different get-ups and all that. But the actor is always only the actor. In fact, the character is the actor, but the actor is not the character. That's what we have to understand. So if the actor is acting as a beggar, beggar is actor, but actor is not beggar. Actor is really a millionaire acting as a beggar. Okay, so B is A is not B, like that. Mithya depends on the Satyam for its very existence. Satyam is always Satyam. It doesn't even change, or it doesn't depend on anything for its existence. It is actually self-existing, self-revealing reality. That is the Satyam. And that Satya Vastu is not other than yourself. You are that Satya Vastu. Now that is the teaching, correct? That is the teaching we have, that I am the self-revealing, self-existent reality, which is also limitless, because this self-revealing, self-existent entity alone is the invariable in each and every cognition, and the entire world can be can be categorized as only the objective world, which is cognized, correct, as an object, and the subject itself. But this Atma, which is the invariable in each and every cognition, is actually the one which is appearing as the object also, because there is an object consciousness. It is the one which is manifest as the means of knowledge also, the manovritti, and it is the one which is manifest as the pramata, which is the chaitanyam which is manifesting in the mind itself. So all are Atma only. It is the same Atma which is appearing as a subject, object, and means of knowledge. All three are one Atma alone. This Triputi is only an appearance, and it is transient, correct? There is no Triputi in your deep sleep. And in the in the dream world, you are having a different you identify as a different kind of subject and all that. Okay. Your individuality itself is something which is transient. Although the waking individuality seems to have some continuity, but it is no different from the dream individuality, because it is not there in deep sleep anyway. So it is resolved. You are there even without your individuality, but the individuality cannot be there without you. So the individuality is mithya. I am this self-revealing, self-existent consciousness, which is also ananta, because I pervade all the three things, correct? The knower, known, and the means of knowledge, all of which is pervaded by me in the form of consciousness. I am that consciousness, which is the invariable in each and every cognition. That is what is said in Kena Upanishad as Pratibodha Viditam Matam. Pratibodha Viditam Matam Amritatvam hi Vindate. So once you understand this, then you can never be a mortal, because you are never born. This consciousness is never born, correct? Even time is in this consciousness, space is in this consciousness. You are not an existing entity in space time. That is the greatest avidya. The avidya is to think that I am existing in space time, but the reality is space time is in you. Then how can you be born? Because time you transcend space time itself. So there is no question of being born or dying and all that. You are always free from mrityu. Mrityu mukhat pramuchyate, like that. Upanishad also says, the one who knows this, you are free. You are always free. So anyway, the idea here is what this Sadvastu alone is real. Everything else is asat only. It's all unreal. It's only an appearance. And it doesn't exist apart from the cause. If you take this Brahman or this consciousness as the cause of everything, then none of these things which you see as the objective world, none of them really exist independent of this consciousness. So they are all Mrisha, unreal only. And they don't count really, because the effect is unreal. The status of being the cause also is unreal. Both of them are gone. Like if the objective world is unreal, the status of being a subject also is unreal. There is no subject without the object. There is no cause without the effect being there. Correct? The status of being a cause is only a standpoint, because when you look at it from the standpoint of the effect only, you can say something is a cause. From its own standpoint, there is no cause or any effect or anything. Understand that? So anyway, so here we saw up to this verse 150, where Acharya is summarizing, saying that this manaf prabritehe, mind, etc., starting from mind, etc., because mind is the subject, the entire objective world comes to you only through the mind, correct? So starting from mind, and we have to also include everything else, the entire objective world. They cannot they cannot be thought of being either sat or asat, correct? Either they should have, if you accept Satkaryavada, they have come from already a potential state which is existing, or Asatkaryavada means they have come newly, being non-existent, they have come. But anyway, these two, we say that basically the Sadvastu transcends, okay? And also even the effect themselves cannot be thought of as anything other than that. So, Sattvam Asatvam Atitya Manah Pravrtehe na Katanchana Vrittihi Asti Iha, means you cannot know them other than this. Why this point is raised here is because the Jains say that there is something called Sat Asat. Then they say Sadasat also is a category for them. Existing and non-existing at the same time. So I don't know how anything can be like that. And then not existing, they have some 7 different categories. Okay. They call it Syad Vada. Syad Asti, Syad Nasti, Syad Asti Nasti. Syad Avaktavyam. You cannot say what it is. Avaktavyam also they add. Then they have another 2 more combinations, correct? Syad Nasti Avaktavyam, Syad Asti Avaktavyam, then Syad Asti Nasti Avaktavyam. Like this, they have some 7 categories called Syad Vada. Syad itself means something like maybe. Maybe it is, maybe it is not, maybe it is and it is not, maybe it cannot be described, something like that. Okay, this is a maybe Vada. So Bhashyakara simply applies this Syad Vada to Syad Vada itself and says that whatever you say is not, cannot be ascertained, or you cannot come to any conclusion, correct? Then it is not, it cannot be a Nischaya Jnanam. There is no Nischaya in this. Just saying that this can be like this, that can be like that is not Jnana. Nischayatmika Buddhi, correct? Buddhi means you have to come, you have to discriminate and arrive at a certain conclusion, correct? It has to be conclusive, it has to be clinching. So that is not a, maybe as a philosophy or to feel that you are an intellectual or something, these kinds of, you can say flights of fancy, maybe okay, but it's not going to give you any Purushartha. Okay, it is not going to give you any desirable result, or it doesn't serve any purpose. All this Yadvada. So, anyway, what finally he says is what Tatayeva Manah Pramukhasya Bhavaha na Bhavet. So, he says that means there is no, the Satkaryavada, Asatkaryavada, both have been shown as illogical. Okay, therefore, what? And there is nothing other than these 2 Vadas. The third Vada also doesn't make any sense. Therefore, mind etc. have been do not have any existence. Bhavaha here means they do not, Pramukhasya Bhavaha means they don't have any existence. They don't have any existence. Na bhavet. It is sarva suvedyam, he says. That means it can be, it is known by everybody easily, or it is well known by everybody. At least everybody who is a wise person or who has proper thinking, for all of them, this is very clearly known, very well known. Sarva suvedyam. Okay, continuing. Yadi nama katanchidamushya bhavaha sadasatvam apekshya bhavishyati vaha amrishatvam amushya tathapi natu shrutirasya mrishatvam uvachayataha. Okay, now as Vedantins, for us Shruti is the Antyam Pramanam, correct? Shruti is the Pramanam for us. We accept it as a valid means of knowledge. And for us, whatever is revealed by the Shruti is the one which is Balavat. Okay, it is stronger. So he finally says, see, Yadi Nama Katanchid Amushya Bhavaha Sadasatvam Apeksha Bhavishyati. Let us say that whatever you may subscribe to Satkaryavada or Asatkaryavada. Okay, Sad Asatvam Apeksha with reference to this. Okay, Bhavaha Bhavishyati. You say it is there. Somebody says Satkaryavada alone is proper, logical in their mind at least. The other fellow says, no, Asatkaryavada. So, whatever it may be. Yadi nama katanchit means what? Even if you consider that Satkaryavada is there or Asatkaryavada alone is correct, okay? Even if you think like that. So means the mind, starting from mind onwards, everything has come from non-existence. That is one idea. Or starting from mind onwards, everything has come from some potential state which is already existing. Whatever may be, they all are unreal only really. So Amrishatvam, Amushya Tathapi. Even then, even if you think like that, it is all Amrisha. Why? Because Natu Shrutihi Asya Mrishatvam Uvacha Yataha. Because Shruti says that it's all unreal. Shruti Pramana you have to contend with. And again, even this, of course, with Buddhists and Jaina people, we cannot talk about Shruti. But these people, the Satkaryavadi, Asatkaryavadi are all, at least nominally, they accept Veda as a Pramana. Even though they may think that Pratyaksha and Anumana are more Bala, or more strong, or stronger than the Shruti, correct? They give some lip service to Shruti. But still they accept the Shruti as a Pramana. And we say that Shruti, the Veda is saying that all these things are only Amrisha. Why? Because it is clearly said, correct? Sadeva Soumya Idamagre Asit Ekameva Advitiyam. And then the what is the analogy given? Vacharammanam Vikaro Namadheyam Mrittika Ityeva Satyam. So Sadeva Satyam. All these Vakyas are all there in the Chandogya Upanishad. It is very clear that these are all only Nama Rupa. And they do not have any existence of their own. Neha nanasti kinchana yatra dvaitam iva pashyati. So many Shruti Vakyas are there. So all these things are only Amrisha, okay, Amrishatvam of this what Manaf Prabhrutayaha. Amrishatvam has been, this Shruti has said, okay. Sorry, not Amrishatvam, Rishatvam I have to say. So Amrishatvam na, he says, okay. Even though you say that Amrishatvam for these things, tathapi na, he says. Even though you say this, they are not real. They are not unreal, he says. It's double negative, okay. Sorry, they are not real only. Means they are not false. Because Mrishatvam means false. Amrishatvam means not false. And then na Amrishatvam. Double negative only, but they are not non-false. Like this, because they have been declared by the Shruti as Mrisha. They are all only erroneous cognition, really. Okay, Katship Pizhai in Tamil. So this is clear for a Shruti rules. Okay, next what? Manasonrutataiva mavadiyataha tatayeva hitasya mrisha charitam yatayeva mrisha manasascharitam tatayeva purodita siddhirabhut. Okay, so Manasaha, what is said here? Anritata evam avadi yataha, because the Shruti has said in this manner that the mind, etc., are all Anritam only, they are not real. Tataha eva. Therefore, what? Because of that only, indeed, he tasya mrisha charitam. Its activity also is equally unreal. So you have a snake on the rope. You see a snake on the rope, snake is all, it is lifting his head. It looks like as though it is ready to strike you and all that. Okay. Now, if the snake itself is mithya, all the activities of the snake are also equally mithya. There is no reality to that also. Or whatever you see there, only rope alone is there. And all the activities of the adhyaropita sarpa, okay, the superimposed snake, whatever it may be doing, all that also is equally mithya once you come to know that there is only rope alone is there. Okay. So this is what he is saying. So the activities of the mind are all unreal. Yatayeva mrisha manasascharitam. Since the activities of the mind are unreal, tatayeva purodita siddhi abhut. So whatever I have said before, correct? Basically, if you go back, this whole topic is starting from somewhere, correct? 115 and all that. From there only we are talking about the unreality. So even here he says, correct, 115 you see, Yadapeksha bhaved abhidanamidam paramatma padasya turiyamiti. So the avasthatraya viveka was talked about, and then it was said that even that sanya, that counting of fourth and all is also only with reference to the other three. Don't think that there are four things really and all that. That four count and all, only it is only to differentiate the Atma from the other three which are unreal. Once the other three are unreal, the count four and all is all also gone along with that, correct? In fact, in Vastu cannot be counted also. Counting itself is mithya. Understand that. There is nothing called, even one we cannot use really. That's why we have to say one non-dual. Because that non-dual word basically negates any kind of counting itself. Understand that, or assigning any number and all that. Atma is not subjected to any numbering, or cannot be subjected to any numbering or counting and all that. If you say one, then two, three and all will come, correct? There is no one, two or three or anything in Atma. Understand that. So the mind and all its qualities, etc., and even it is cheshta, he says. Parinirmita varana cheshtitavati is what said here already in 115. Even the activity of the mind and all, it is like the activity of an elephant, which is like which is in the exhibition and all, we have elephants and all that, correct? It is a contraption really. So you put some elephant kind of outward form, and internally it is like some machine, and it may be even lifting its trunk and all that, but all that is not real. So this, from here onwards, all these things started. He wanted to show the world itself is mithya or unreal. And then he went into Karana Karya Prakriya also to show that. So from there onwards, whatever I am saying now, Acharya is basically summarizing, or he is ending this topic. So he says, Amrishatvam Amushya Tathapi, sorry, here, Yatayeva Mrisha Manasas Charitam Tatayeva Purodita Siddhi Abho Habut, he says. So whatever I have said and all, it has now been established. I have established based on logic, based on Shruti. So, in fact, he is referring to that only now again. Yadapekshyatu nama bhavet tritayam paramatma padasya turiyamiti tadasatyam asatya gunastu yataha parinirmita sarpa visarpanavat. So, no, in fact, there he said parinirmita varana or elephant. In fact, it's almost the same verse. 115, whatever we saw, it is almost the same, but slight differences. So, yadapekshyatu nama bhavet tritayam. So that we say that waker, dreamer, sleeper and all that, correct? Or the waking world, dream world and deep sleep. All three are there. For that we gave three names. Okay. Vishwa, Tejasa, Prajna. All those names. And then we said Atma is Turiya. But the Turiyatvam itself is only with reference to the other three. It's not something that it is its nature or anything, or it is not to say that Atma is somehow the fourth. So all these things are only yad apekshya, he says. That's what it is. All dependent on the, because we counted three, then we have to differentiate the Atma, we say it is the fourth. But the fourth is in and through all the three. And therefore what? The all other three have been shown as false. Therefore you cannot count the Atma also as fourth or anything. And since they are false, not only are they false that they are not a separate entity, any activity and all that also, it is all like parinirmita sarpavati, he says. Here he has brought the snake instead of the elephant. So more like the rope snake only he is talking about here. So it is like a snake. Sarpa visarpanavati means again it is like the activity of the snake. it's not real. If the snake itself is not real, all is its action or whatever you think that it is doing, it is also all of them. So the snake, all its qualities, you see a snake which is of some color and all that, correct? All those qualities are also unreal, and it's whatever its activities, everything is unreal. So this 153 is almost like the 115 verse. Means why he is bringing it here, like I said, that now he is summarizing this topic. Whatever topic he started in 115 is now coming to an end with this. Then what? So nikhilasya manah pramukhasya yato vitathatvam avadi puratu maya shruti yukti balena tatodvayakam paramaksharameva sadanyadasat. Okay, 154 also is a summary one. Okay, what he says, nikhilasya manah pramukhasya, all, everything starting with mind onwards, for all of them what? Yataha vitatatvam avadi. So I have now said that they are all unreal. Vitatatvam means unreality. Puratu maya means whatever I said before, he says. Before is 115 onwards. Okay. Puratu maya avadi vitatatvam. Whatever was said by me that they are all unreal. What he has done now in between, Shruti Yukti Balena Tataha. Shruti Yukti Balena. And how did I say that? Again, I have now shown that both I have supported whatever I have said with Shruti, different quotations from Shruti, and also Yukti, logically also. In fact, logic is not used so much to support our position. Of course, some supporting logic we can use. Logic is mostly used to show that whatever others are saying are illogical, correct? Whatever others are saying are illogical. That much if we show also, it is good enough for us, because we have the Shruti Pramana. We go by whatever the Shruti is revealing. So anyway, Shruti and Yukti Balena Pura Maya Avadi. Okay, Puratu Maya Avadi. Then what? Tataha, therefore, Advayakam Param Aksharam Eva Sat. Therefore, the Sadvastu, which is Advaya, which is non-dual, and which is the ultimate reality, correct? Param Aksharam, which never changes. It never declines, it can never be destroyed. It is Naksharati iti Aksharam. This indeclinable, imperishable Atma, that alone is real. And Anyata Asat, everything other than that, whatever you are seeing, it is all Asat, because it doesn't have any existence of its own. Now this Anyad Asat point, even most scientists accept now, correct? Because this entire world is Maya. That even every physicist can see that very easily, because what they also know, that whatever we see limitless or countless objects in this world, but all of them, they are finally reducing it to only some few fundamental particles, correct? They even say that only 3 quarks or something are fundamental. Everything is coming from there. Now, if there are only 3 quarks, then think of it. What all you see here in the macro world, everything is only appearance, correct? It's a Maya. And even those 3 quarks are not there independently. It depends on an observer and all that. There is a theory which, again, not everybody is accepting that, but the most accepted theory also is actually, it has to talk about an observer, because of whom only whatever the quantum system is collapsing and all that, they talk about like that. But what is the nature of that observer and all, they have no idea. Because science, by restricting itself to only objective study, has effectively removed the subject from the picture, correct? Although some people are now studying, there are consciousness studies and all that also is there in some universities. And now they are talking about something called qualia. Qualia means what? The subjective experience also has to be accounted for, correct? You cannot just reduce it to something, some brain and chemical activity of brain and all that. The subjectively what we appreciate, even sweetness, let us say. Nobody can even define sweetness, correct? There is a famous saying in Sanskritam that Saraswatyapi na vaktum shakyate, it is said. Even Goddess Saraswati comes, She can also not say, with words cannot explain certain things, correct? All the emotions which you are experiencing, or even things like sweetness and all that, you can say it is sweet, or use some other word in some other language and all that. At the end of the day, that's all you can do. It doesn't convey anything. The subject, whatever experience you are actually having while having a sweet, that is qualia, it is called. But that also has to be accounted for. If you deny that, basically you are denying everybody's experience, correct? But they don't know how to account for that, or what is the what is the nature of the subject itself, what is the reality of the subject. That reality is what we are talking about. Vedanta is talking about the nature of the subject, and finally it is revealing to you that the whatever the subject is, its nature is also not separate from the objective world. Everything is one non-dual reality, which is what you have to understand. That is yourself. So this is what is the teaching here. So param aksharameva sat anyad asat. Now he is again showing how Shruti has revealed all this. He is quoting some Shrutis in 155. Let us see that. Yada purvam abahyam anantarakam na cha kinchana tasya bhavatyparam iti veda vachonu shashasa yato vitayam paratonyadatav pragatam. Okay, so now yada purvam anaparam, okay, abahyam, anantaram and all this. So there are Veda Vakyas, correct? This is all this apurvam, abahyam, anantarakam and all that, it is coming in Brihadaranyaka itself. Okay, if you take the Maitreyi Brahmanam also, it comes in the Brihadaranyaka. So there is a, and then it comes in the Madhu Brahmanam also. If you remember, I don't know, some of you have attended the Brihadaranyaka class. So sa yatha saindhava ghanaha anantaraha abahyaha kritsnaha, like that. Anantaro abahyaha kritsnaha prajnana ghana eva, like that it comes. Then in the Madhu Brahmanam also it is there. Madhu Brahmanam is the fifth Brahmana in the second chapter of the Brihadaranyaka. Okay. So where the Dadhyang Muni is teaching the Ashwini Kumaro, the Ashwini twins. Okay. So there also what it is said, Tad etad Brahma apurvam anaparam anantaram abahyam ayamatma Brahma sarvanubhuhu iti anushasanam. Like that it is said very clearly. So all this apurvam abahyam, why it is said? Because there is nothing before Brahman. Okay, means it is uncast. Brahman itself does not have any cause. And there is nothing after Brahman also, means what? It doesn't create any effect really. Understand that there are no cause, or it transcends both cause and effect. Similarly, it is said that there is nothing inside or outside for Brahman, means it transcends space. And by saying there is no before or after Brahman, time also is transcended. So basically, if Brahman transcends time and space, it transcends causality also. Is that clear? Because causality is only in the context of space-time. So Brahman transcends all that. That's why all these negative, sometimes it is contradictory also, correct? The Shruti also talks about it as though contradictory, because it says Anor Aniyan, Mahato Mahiyan. How do you understand that? It is smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest. Means basically it transcends any measurement. Correct? You cannot measure it. There is nothing. It's one whole. It's partless whole. How can you measure it? It transcends the measurement. Any kind of measurement you can think of, Brahman transcends it, because it's a partless whole. So basically, since Brahman is all this, particularly in this context, Acharya is saying, Nacha kinchana tasya bhavati aparam, he says. Because there is nothing there which is after this Brahman or comes after this Brahman means what? It doesn't create any effect really. So why are we even talking about Satkaryavada, Asatkaryavada and all that? See, even the Advaitin talks about some kind of Satkaryavada, we have to say, but that is all only Vyavaharika. Understand that. So basically here we are doing the Apavada of the Srishti itself. So from the Paramarthika standpoint, Brahman is Brahman. From the standpoint of clay, it will say, I never had partners, correct? Even in your understanding of clay or gold, there are no jewelries or parts or anything. If you look at it as clay, it is clay alone. So there is a elephant, okay? Since the Acharya also talked about Parinirmita Varana. So there is a elephant made up of wood, but it looks so real. So if you take it as elephant, then you are ready to run away because it looks like a mad elephant also. Correct? It's about to trample you and all that. But then once you look at it as wood, the elephant has vanished. There is no more elephantness or anything, correct? In your understanding of wood, there is no elephantness or anything like that. Understand that. That has vanished. Wood alone is there. Like that, once you understand this entire world is nothing but this Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, there is no more world or anything. It is Badhayam Samanadikaranyam. Correct? When we say the world is Brahman, it is like saying snake is rope. It is negational. Basically, the reality, or when we say elephant is wood, means elephant is gone. It has vanished. Like that, only Brahman alone is there. That alone is Satyam. Therefore, there is no there is no after Brahman. This world has come, or from the wood only the elephant has come, and all that you cannot say in reality. Correct? So, nacha kinchana tasya bhavati aparam, tasya aparam na bhavati kinchana. There is nothing which is there, which has come after this Brahman or anything, or after whatever the cause, because the effect itself is mithya, means the status of being the cause also is mithya equally. Is that clear? From the standpoint of elephant, you can still say elephant, the cause of the elephant is the wood and all that. But in reality, there is no causality sticking to the wood. Understand that. So, iti Veda vachanonu ashasasa, it says. So, the Veda has taught us like this. Okay. Therefore, what? Because of that, yataha vitayam parataha anyadataha pragatam means. So, here, whatever is there, this apurvam, anantaram and all that, correct? In fact, we have to connect it with the next verse also. 155 and 156 together we can see, or okay, we can see it. It is with a thumb, I think. It is with a yum, I don't think it is correct. I got a little confused by that. It is with a thumb only. So it's a spelling mistake. This is a typo. So basically what, once you understand that nothing has really come out of this Brahman, what is your conclusion? So whatever is other than that anyat ataha vitatham pragatam means it now becomes that it is established that whatever other than this Brahman, it's all unreal. So the unreality of Brahman only finally is establishing it by quoting the Shruti also. So by quoting the Brihadaranyaka Shruti, and one more Brihadaranyaka Shruti also is going to quote in 156. That Saindava Ghana, in fact, I said. So this first one is basically the Madhu Brahmana quote you can take, but this Abhahyam Anantara Mandal is there in the Maitreyi Brahmanam also. But Maitreyi Brahmanam, additionally the nature, the homogeneous nature of Brahman also is talked about by the analogy of the salt crystal. So that we see. Pratishidhya yato bahirantarapi swavilakshanamatmana uktavati avabodha ghanatvamatonyadasat lavanaika rasatva nidarshanataha. So Lavanaika rasatva nidarshanata. Nidarshanam means again analogy or example. So the Lavana Eka rasa means what? You taste the salt crystal anywhere, it is of the same salty taste, correct? Means it has a homogeneous taste. The homogeneity is there once you have a salt crystal. Similarly, or even if you in fact in two places it talks slightly differently. The Maitreyi Brahmana actually repeats in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It is there as the fourth Brahmana in the second chapter, and it is there as the fifth Brahmana in the fourth chapter also. But there are slight differences, very slight differences. In one, it is talking about creating a solution of this salt, correct? Once you mix the salt in water, then that entire solution tastes the same thing everywhere. Means again homogeneity is talked about. Like this, Brahman, its very nature is being consciousness. Means it is homogeneously conscious. And so it is not conscious in one place, not conscious in other place or anything like that. It is prajnana ghana. That's why it is called that. Ghanatvam means it is dense or homogeneous. We have to take the homogeneity is what is talked about here. So Brahman or Atman itself is avabodha ghanam, it is said. Avabodha is consciousness only. It is another word used for consciousness or awareness. Avabodha ghanatvam. How here Lavanaika rasatvam also points to the same homogeneity, that the salt is tasting everywhere the same salty. Similarly, this Brahman which is homogeneously conscious, that alone is there. Okay. And in that there is no, it is inside it is conscious, outside it is not. There is no inside, outside or anything in that. Okay. It is uniformly the same. Everywhere it is the same consciousness alone is there. So it is pratishidhya means what? It has been negated here. Shruti, by showing this homogeneity of salt, taste of salt, what it has said, it has negated everything else, whether internal or external. There is nothing other than this self alone. That's what it is showing there. And homogeneously it is the same everywhere. Why this is important teaching is, some people, this homogeneity teaching is very important, understand. Why? Because the Vishishtadvaitin says, they have a word Advaita which is meaningless there anyway, because they say Vishishta. Vishishta means what? Qualified non-duality. Now, once you talk about qualification, there is a qualified and a qualifier, correct? There is a qualification and a qualified. Duality is there. Then where is the non-duality? They still say, no, no, it is one entity. One entity itself has Chit and Jada, both as qualities. Okay. There is one entity, Brahman, whom they call also as Narayana and Vishnu with 4 hands and all that. I don't know how. Where does the hand and all come from? We don't know. Or even the space between the hands, is it Brahman or not? You have to say, how do they say that it has 4 hands are there, Shankam, Chakram, all that. For Upasana, it is fine. We don't say that it should not be a Upasya or an object of your Upasana. But Nedam Edidam Upasate, Shruti is very clear. Kenopanishad says, Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi, Nedam Edidam Upasate. So, whatever you objectify is not Brahman. It's not, it cannot be only restricted to an object of your knowledge, correct? Then Brahman itself can never be Anantam. It is Anantam means it has to be Desha Kala Vastu Aparichinna, correct? It has to transcend space time, and all objects also cannot be separate from this Brahman. That's why it is also the knower, known, and the means of knowledge, all of which is Brahman alone. That being the case, you cannot reduce it to a particular object, whether it is an object of your imagination or really also you have to cognize it as an object. Means as soon as you say Paramatma is an object, in fact, Paramatma becomes Anatma, because anything you objectify with your mind is Anatma, correct? It becomes Anatma and it will become Parichinna also, it will become limited. So all these problems are there. So anyway, so this homogeneity means what? Brahman cannot be at the same time be Chit and Achit and all that, correct? Chit and Jada, or it cannot have any qualities. It is one homogeneous entity which is all consciousness alone. There is nothing else. Consciousness itself is not a quality of Brahman also. Is that clear? It is its very nature. The Swarupa is different. Understand that. So that's why this Lavana Ekatva Rasa Nidarshana, this analogy is very important. And Yajnavalkya uses this to teach Maitreyi that Brahman alone is there. In fact, interestingly, the next Vakya after this, or couple of Vakya later, she says that it is as though you are confusing me and all that. You can go back and refer to that. It's interesting. Then he says, no, no, I am not confusing you. So here Pratishidhya Yataha, because the Shruti Bahirantarapi Swa Vilakshanam Atmanaha Pratishidhya Uktavati means what? There is no anything outside or inside other than the Atma is one and the same everywhere. It is homogeneous and there cannot be anything different, whether it is inside or outside for it. All that is negated in that. Therefore, what? This Atma is only avabodha ghanatvam only is there for that. And anything else you think of as a quality or any entity other than the Atma, and then the Atma will become heterogeneous, correct? That's not true. So all that is anyat asat, and that has been shown by this Lavanaika Rasatva Nidarshanataha. From this analogy, we can understand that anything other than you say that Jadatvam and all that is also equally unreal. Okay. Further what? Lavanaika Rasatva Samam Bhanitam Swavilakshana Vastu Nishedhanataha Avabodha Ghanam Paramatma Padam Tvamavehi Tadasmi Sadahamiti. Okay. So this Lavanaika, okay, he is now summarizing only basically 157 and all that. What? Lavanaika Rasatva Samam Bhanitam Swavilakshana Vastu Nishedhanataha. So Swavilakshana Vastu Nishedhanataha means what? Anything other than oneself, all that has been negated. There is no other entity other than this Atma. And also this Atma itself is within that also there is no Veda, correct? Swagata Veda also cannot be there because it is one homogeneous consciousness. Prajnana Ghanam. That has been established by the Lavaneka Rasatva Samam, means it is similar to the salt being homogeneously salty, or even the salt solution being homogeneously salty. And therefore what? It is only avabodha ghanam. This Paramatma Padam, this Paramatma, Atma or Paramatma are all one only, correct? This Pratyagatma is Paramatma really. The inner self is also the, whatever you say, the ultimate self, which is the cause of everything. It is only avabodha ghanam. It is avabodha ghanam. It is prajnana ghanam. It is one lump of consciousness, you have to say. But lump also is a problem. You will think lump means some form and all that. There is no form. It is as it is. That's why you have to say finally it is existence. And that self-existent, self-conscious reality, Tvam avehi tadasmi. It is that you are that only, correct? You know that as yourself. Tvam avehi, you know that. How? Not as something, some other object or anything. Tadasmi. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi, correct? Upanishad says the same thing. Nedam edidam upasate. Tadeva brahma tvam vidhi. You know that alone as this Brahman. Okay, knowing that Brahman, when in get out? When should I know it as Brahman? Okay, in the morning I am Brahman. What about in the evening? In evening also you are Brahman. What about at night? Even while sleeping also you are Brahman. What about when I am dreaming? Means dreaming also you are Brahman. Waking also you are Brahman. Sleeping also you are Brahman. You are Brahman alone. All these appearances do not matter. That's why Acharya says Sadahamiti. He says Tadasmi means somebody can still ask, okay, I am that Brahman, but when? When means always. Whether you are dreaming, sleeping, waking, doesn't matter. These three states themselves have been shown as unreal. So you are always Sadahamiti. Always you are that Brahman alone. You are not anything other than that. You cannot be anything other than that. In fact, whatever you think, see, the whole problem is the wrong identity with the body, mind, sense complex. That wrong identity can easily go away because even without Shruti and all other teachings, the simplest thing, simplest logic alone we have to use in Vedanta, which is what? Whatever I know is not I. You hold on to that always. That alone is Vedanta. Whatever I know is not I means body, mind, sense complex is known. Hunger, thirst, etc. are known. All your emotions, all your thoughts are known. Means anything which is known is not I. I am always the knower. Then only it is a simple step further. What? None of the known things can exist apart from this consciousness. The knower also is consciousness. Known also is only consciousness. So conscious, this self-existent, self-revealing consciousness alone is the content of each and every cognition. Understand that it is in and through each and every cognition. It is the invariable in each and every cognition. Therefore, it alone is Satyam. It is the only thing which doesn't change, correct? Yad rupena yan nischitam bhavati, tad rupena tanna vyabhicharati iti satyam. That is our definition. Whatever you know in a particular manner, correct? This is its nature. Once you know something like that, it can never change. Like that, there is only one entity, which is yourself, which is always aware. The Atma's consciousness can never go away, correct? That the Brihadaranyaka also says very clearly, beautifully it says. What? Drashtuhu drishतेः विपरिलोपो न विद्यते अविनाशित्वात्. Drashtuhu drishतेः means what? The sight of the seer, it says, or the sight of the one who sees your eyes themselves, correct? One who knows whether the eyes are seeing or not. The sight of that consciousness, it never stops, it never ceases. Okay, the seer of the sight never ceases, means it never stops, means because it's always conscious, its nature can never change. Even while sleeping also only mind is resolved. Understand that consciousness is still the same consciousness. That's why you can wake up and say, I did not know anything. It can never stop. It exists. I always exist. That's why we can never think of a time when you can say, I did not exist. I am the dreamer, I am the sleeper, I am the waker. Correct? That I am always there. Then why are you identifying that I with something which you see? That is the fundamental avidya, correct? That is the ignorance. This superimposition you have to overcome. Means whatever I know is not I. And whatever I am, the self-revealing, self-existent consciousness, which need not be even revealed by any pramana, that itself is limitless consciousness because there is only one such consciousness. The second consciousness you cannot see. And Shruti also comes and confirms saying that there is only one consciousness because there can still be a doubt. See this Atma Anatma Viveka anybody can do. I am not what I know. That is a very strong logic you can use. But still there can be a doubt. Okay, there are many sentient entities. Now each of them, they all say I. Then the I which is used everywhere, is it the same I or there are many I's? Means Shruti confirms saying you cannot see anyway, correct? Pratyakshataha, you cannot establish many consciousnesses because a consciousness can never be objectified. All you are objectifying are only bodies, correct? You are only seeing different bodies, but since they react to stimuli, you think that they are sentient and all that. But even even though they are sentient, whatever is giving them that sentiency, is it only one consciousness or there are many consciousnesses that can never be established by any pratyaksha or anumana? Only the Shruti has to come. And what does the Shruti say? There is only one consciousness. And Gita also, Bhagavan says, Kshetram Kshetri Tata Kritsnam Prakashayati Bharata. All kshetras are only lighted up by Yata Prakashayat Ekaha Kritsnam Lokam Imam Ravihi. So the sun analogy also is used. Correct? There is only one sun, but that alone is lighting up the entire world. Or wherever you see any reflection of the sun also, it is all only one sun really. You may see hundreds of reflections. Or even Bhashyakara also, Shankara in the Dakshinamurti Sutra, he gives another analogy. What? That Nana Chidra Ghatodharasti Tamaha Deepa Prabhabhaswaram. Correct? You have one pot, within that there is a light. Mahadeepam, he says, means big lamp. Then what? You put different holes in that pot and then think that there are then so many lights are coming out, correct? Rays of light. Then you cannot say no, they are, because they may be lighting up different places and all that, but there are not many sources of light or anything. It's all only one source of light, although it is appearing as though it is many coming out of different holes. Like means like that many conscient or sentient beings are there, but only one consciousness alone is lighting up all that. Or it's the only one consciousness which is manifesting there. In fact, everybody uses only one sarvanama, correct? I. That way also some people say. See, normally for objects there are so many names, but I is only one for whoever it is. That is another way of looking at it, saying that there is only one Atma. The sarvanama is only one. The pronoun is only one, correct? Nouns are many. That's why the many nouns are all unreal. Pronoun is real. That is the only reality. So that is the teaching. We'll continue this. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.